Welcome to 3D.sk, human photo reference for 3D artists and game developers. On this site you can find thousands of images, from studio photo reference to street photo reference. We also have a selection of animals on our site. We have some costumes, we have weapons, armor. We also have 3D scans of bodies and heads, clothing, animals, all the aforementioned above, and 3D maps and textures. Hello and welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to be carrying on from the last episode where we created the eye transition mesh and the eyelashes. So let's go ahead and start UVing these so we can actually use them. So let's go to Unwrap UV editor. And as you can see, they're extremely small, so what I want to do here is I'm just going to get each of them, go on this, which is called select by element, and we're just going to pelt map each of them. Star relax, pelt map, star relax. Just very simply, just get some kind of UVs out for them for now. Okay. So I'm just going to order them. And what we want to do is similar thing that we did to the hair. So we want these to be on the bottom. So how do we do that? Well, I'm going to select one of these edges, turn off element toggle. I'm just going to work out which way is which and rotate them all the right way. So let's just go here. Okay. Same on this one. But we want to be able to differentiate between the bottom and top eyelids. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select this, go off element toggle and just make sure I've got the bottom. I have. So bottom, top. Let's do the same on the other side. It's also quite easy to see which is the bottom and which one's the top by just looking at the curvature. So that's the top, that's the bottom. We can also just make sure. It's always good to make sure. Okay, they're all good. And what I kind of want to do is I want to straighten these. Let's turn on checker pattern. Another way to do this is you can go to the lines and you can go align horizontally. Align horizontal. Align vertical. Align vertical. Align horizontally. Align horizontally. Align vertical. Align vertical. And do this on all of them. And this is just going to make it easier for us to do UVs for them. Okay. So now what we can do is we can make sure that these are all roughly the same height. I want to actually do this. Just make sure that we have got the bottom still aligned to the bottom. Yep. Yep. Okay, they are all aligned, so that's good. Just Control Z, bring them back into place. Okay, it won't let me go any further, so I'm just gonna do that again. Okay, so this one is a lot smaller than the other ones for some reason, which it shouldn't be. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go off element selection, holding shift and just kind of move this across. Okay, let's select all the outer edges, or all the outer... Actually, we can lay them on top of each other for now, and we can make them all the same size. Okay, so now that we've got them lined up roughly, we can line them up a bit better now. Just select all the outer edges. Let's go to align vertically. And then you can select all the edges up here, align horizontally. And then the same here, align horizontally. Now what we can do is we can go to these outer vertexes here, and we can go free selected, and we can select all, go to relax by polygon angles, and you're going to see it basically do this. So what we're going to do now, we're going to unfreeze all. We're going to select these two, and we're going to go loop. Actually, select just these. My mistake. Go here, loop, and then straighten. And if you see what we've done here, we've kind of created a straighter plane on which we can work on. Kind of want to move these in a little bit, so let's do that. Feel like they're too out. Okay, let's do the same thing again. Freeze, select all, relax by polygon angles. Let's try relax by edge angles as well. Polygon angles is probably better. I'm just going to keep clicking it. Okay, now that we've got that, let's do the same thing again. So remember, you've got to unfreeze all. Go to these, loop, straighten, go to these, loop, and straighten, or align horizontally to pivot. So you can see now that our UVs are a little bit uncoordinated or uneven. So what I want to do here is I want to split up the bottom from the top, because the bottom ones are slightly smaller. So I want to make sure that all my edges along the bottom lines are still as they should be. Yep. And yep. Seems good. Okay, now we can create some eyelashes for these. I'm just going to make them as big as we possibly can. What we don't want to be doing is UVing them twice. I wonder if we straightened what would happen. Straightened. Now she suits me much better. Now that they're in a better place, they can be straightened a lot easier. And you can see that we've got okay UVs. They're not perfect by any means, but they're good enough for eyelashes. So we've got the bottom and we've got the top. Now all we need to do is we can group these by going to group, group. And then once we do this, it's going to get our proper size for us. So these should be the two bottom ones, yes. And you could change the size, but then it might mess with some stuff. So I'm probably not going to do that. I want to scale them down a tiny bit. That means I want to scale them all down though. Just a tiny bit. And maybe put them about here. Give them some room. And that should be fine. Okay, let's close that down. Let's collapse all. Now let's do the eye transition mesh. So for the eye transition mesh, it's a very similar thing. If we go to Unwrap UVW, just go to element selection. Let's select this one and let's go pelt. It should pelt just fine. Exactly like that. Start relax. Now, let's just have a look at the UVs, how they're looking. There's not actually going to be too much detail on these. So what I want to do, if I can, is overlap these, if possible. Which might not be possible. That would involve mirroring it, and that might cause some problems later on. But we could see how it goes, and then if not, then we can switch it back. Mirroring shouldn't cause too many problems. Just mirror that. Wrong way. Like so. Yeah, it just makes it so relaxing, becomes that much harder. So what I think I'm going to do actually is just leave them as they are, and we'll just do it twice. Because getting these to line up would be quite difficult. There is another way we could do it, and that way would be to unwrap the UVs separately. So what we could do is we could go to this. This doesn't always work. Sometimes it's a bit buggy and causes problems, but we can try it. So if I just go unwrap UVW here, open UV editor, let's go to pelt, problem for some reason. Let's delete that because I've got element on. Turn element off. I had element on and no element was selected, so no element showed in UV editor. So I'm just gonna pelt this, start my relax, make sure it's looking good, okay. Now I'm gonna do this, make it a tiny bit smaller, a bit more in the center. We can go to edit, copy. Or is that the right button? One sec. Mapping, edit, save UVs. I'm in the wrong place, so let's just go to HD Connor. And then let's go to tutorials. Texture. I'm just going to save a UV here called eye transition. Okay, now that that's saved, collapse 2. Let's go to this, unwrap, load. Then if I load that mesh, it should be the exact same. But you got to test if it is actually the exact same. So if I click here, is it actually in the same place? Just double check all the vertices to see if they're doing okay. Okay, that seems to be great, and it worked. Okay, now if we attach them back together, they should have the exact same UV space. I just go to this, go to this. They should have the exact same UV space. I hope that it doesn't cause any problems later, because sometimes it does, but we'll just have to see about that. So we've got those UVs now. We also have to rename it. Eye transition mesh. Okay, now that we've got that, we still need to model if you look on the high poly model, we don't yet have a actual tear duct modeled in there, which we'll need to make it look a little bit more realistic, so we'll be adding that. We'll also have to add some teeth, tongue and a mouth. We'll be doing that in future tutorials. We'll probably be just getting a mesh that you may be able to download off our site. So we'll be doing that. We probably won't be modeling the whole mouth, teeth, tongue in this tutorial. It may come up in upcoming tutorials, but not in this tutorial, as it's a whole other tutorial in itself. Quite a complicated process of modeling all the teeth, the mouth and the tongue and getting the shape right. So we won't be doing that in this tutorial, but we will be supplying you with some kind of mesh that you can download or sign up for the site. So I'll see you in the next tutorial. We'll be doing the tear duct. Welcome to the end of this tutorial. Feel free to comment with feedback and suggestions below, and also comment on what you would like to see in future videos. Thanks and goodbye.